December Village Council meeting. So I'll call the meeting to order here at 2 p.m. And remind everyone, all the area reps, to sign in if you have not. We'll have a roll call in a minute, but if you haven't signed in, come up here and do that. Joe, would you introduce Chaplain Tim? And he has an invocation for us.
I think you're all familiar with Chaplain Tim Weibel, and thanks to Tim for stepping in here when he's got to go tune up some voices very soon for the Christmas choir.
Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, everyone. If I haven't met you before, yes, Chaplain Timothy Weibel. I've been here over a year now. Happy to be here to do invocation again today. We have a part-time chaplain, Jim, and 2 people already have asked me how he's doing. So I spoke with him last Friday. He's recovering well after open heart surgery, but as maybe some of you know, it's a process and it takes time. So I'm glad to say he's doing well. Yes, let us pray. Gracious God, we are a diverse body gathered together again this month to meet and converse, to plan, to discern. We thank you for the diversity that we all represent in this place. Diversity of faith and religion, backgrounds, all kinds of experiences, knowledge, wisdom that we bring to the table. We ask that your Spirit be present here in a way that allows us to both share and to hear, to truly listen. In this very special season of the year, help each one of us to be able to listen carefully to your voice around us, in competition sometimes with so many other voices in society. We thank you for this place to live, for what makes it truly unique and special. Help us to continue to feel blessed and to be a blessing to one another. All in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Tim. Okay, Deb Weber, roll call. Everybody signed in? That's...
Okay, it looks like everybody signed in except Area 19. Anybody here from Area 19? Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the November 6, 2023 minutes. At our executive committee meeting, we was reported there was one error that we were aware of, and that was the date for the golf cart parade was misquoted in the minutes. It was right in other stuff, but not that. So could we have a motion to amend the minutes to correct the date to the 13th of December?
So moved.
Okay. Well, since I'm looking straight ahead, I saw Linda Pearson. And a second? That would be Patricia Hoppe for second. Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Any other changes to the minutes noticed by you all? Yes, Robert?
The minutes should read, Area 14 is present but tardy. I did sign in.
Okay. Robert, why don't you make a motion to that effect?
I move that the minutes for the last meeting be corrected to indicate that Area 14 is present but tardy, and I did sign in.
Okay, Robert moved that the minutes reflect that Area 14 was present but tardy, and he did sign in. With a second for that motion. Okay.
It would be Lois.
Lois, thank you, Lois. Lois Malongo seconded it.
I'm going to see a lot of that when I become president.
Yeah. So Deb, even though we're supposed to do them in writing ahead of time and hand them to you, are you okay on those? You keeping up with that?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was the only one, right?
yeah, those,
For
yeah,
the late person.
yeah. Okay. Any other things about the minutes that we need? Okay. Very good. Then the minutes will stand approved as amended through these motions. Very good. Treasurer's report, Brad.
We had one expenditure from our regular balance of $750 for the staff appreciation fund. That gives us a balance of $210.40. And in the PEX account, we had men's and women's breakfast for $28.50 this month, leaving us a balance in the PEX account of $59.50. Any question? Thank you. Lois?
So we function on a fiscal year
Correct.
from October to September.
No, we do annual year, actually.
Oh, okay. I just had a concern if we had enough money to get us through.
Yes, we get quarterly payments from the administration,
So we're good.
so we're good.
Okay. It's time for my report. So first of all, I always like to welcome all the area reps. Thank you all for being here. And this is a really good turnout. And also thank you for all the folks in the audience, all the other residents who have attended or are attending. And we appreciate that very much. It makes it for a good meeting. But the reminder is that only the area reps may speak, and only at the time when under the area reps questions and comments, item 15 in the agenda. So while reports are being given and at the end of reports, hold your questions till the end, write them down. But any resident can speak at council if you sign up ahead of time. So just request a speaking slot from the president a week before the meeting and give an idea of what you'd like to talk about. And then you can have your 3-minute speak at the end of the council. And we invite you to do that if you have concerns. Area reps, when you do speak, hold the microphone up to your mouth closely and state your name, and that's helpful for the recording for the minutes. And if you need to make a motion for something, please write it out and hand it to the secretary. We have paper up here if you need that. On December 19th of this month, there will be, at 3 p.m. here in this room, there will be training for area reps and council officers. So you should plan to attend that. We'd like incoming and outgoing area reps to please come. And the reason for the outgoing area rep to come is you can turn in your book, and also you may have comments that you'd like to make as part of the training, because the training will be just an open discussion time with some presentation, but be plenty of time for area reps to ask questions, clarification, and so the outgoing area reps that have years of experience, 3 p.m. on the 19th.
What was the date and the time again?
19th, December 19th, 3 p.m.
3, okay.
Yep, right here. Okay. Well, yesterday, Margot Collins, our elected resident representative to the board for 2024, called me and said that she was going to be unable to fulfill her office. And so she has withdrawn her name or resigned from that position even prior to the first of the year. It was due to some health issues that had come up. And so that was, and as we talked, I assured her that she was making the correct decision, and we're sorry to hear that, but we surely understand. She expressed that she's sorry that she wouldn't be able to do that, but she is grateful for prayer for those who would be so inclined to pray for her. So I'd like to read from the bylaws of what we do in this case. So we have our shiny new bylaws in front of us. I've got mine here. And I'm going to go to page... Okay. It's Article VI, Section B, Item 3. And this is eligibility. So we're talking about someone who may take this position since we have an opening now. To serve as resident representative or alternate resident representative, an individual must have served as a council officer or as an area representative or alternate area representative for at least 12 months within the 5-year period prior to the date of the term of service would begin, and must have been a resident of Mennonite Village for not less than 24 months. Then item C tells us how we're supposed to replace a vacancy in this role. Replacing the resident representative. If a resident representative resigns or is removed from the position under the provisions of Article 3, Section C above, the alternate resident representative shall complete the resident representative's remaining term of service. If an alternate resident representative resigns or is removed from the position or becomes the resident representative under the terms of this section, the executive committee may nominate for council's approval a successor to the position to complete the alternate's remaining term of service. So that's where we're at right now. So according to these bylaws that we have approved in November, because Margot has resigned, then Joe, our alternate, will become the resident representative, and we'll have an opening for the alternate representative. And so the executive committee will nominate a person who meets the qualifications for that position, and if they accept then the nomination, then they'll bring that to the council at the following meeting of that, and the council will have an opportunity to vote confirming that person to that position. I will violate our process to ask, are there questions about this particular topic? Okay. Because it was a lot of reading and things to digest.
Well, I would ask you, Joe, how you feel about being both president and board representative. I think that's a heavy load.
I'll check on the weight lifting capacity of the backhoe and get back to you. I've already met once with the board, thanks to their request for Tim and I to come and talk about the expansion and our role with the village. I'm thinking at this point that I'm comfortable with that, but I'd also say for the record that would I find that I feel overwhelmed, I'll step aside and I'll ask at that point for us to nominate someone to fulfill that role.
And just from a practical perspective, again, this all is so sudden, I haven't really had a chance to talk all this over with Joe, but I will say this on camera, Joe, that, you know, as our bylaws read, you are going to be the representative unless you resign, but if failing that, the alternate that we elect that is nominated and then voted on and elected at a future meeting will become the alternate. And then it's up to the alternate and the area rep, or the representative rep, to decide between the two of them how they're going to handle the chores, because the idea of the alternate is to be there if the primary cannot attend a meeting. And so...
Thanks for that explanation, Tim, and that's how I imagined you might tell me it would work if I were to accept. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay. On to our next agenda item. Thank you very much. Oh, Patricia.
So
So I know technically we're not in a hurry, but when are we gonna be looking at an alternate applications or however we want to?
Well, I'd say at this point, alternate are available to make themselves known to the executive board from this point forward. If someone knows they meet the qualifications and said, I would like to do that, or I'd be willing to do that, then they could make themselves known, and the executive board will compile that list.
So maybe we should put that in the, our newsletter and our update?
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. That sounds reasonable.
What'd you say?
To put it in the update. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're back under our normal operating procedures now, so we'll just hear reports, and then we'll go through our agenda, and then we'll have the area reps question and comments at the end about things that were discussed from here on. Committee summary reports, Security Advisory Team.
I'm Linda Fox, Chair of Security Advisory Team. I have no incidents to report since the last council meeting. I will remind everyone to continue to be due diligent, and if you see something, say something. I will say that the Security Advisory Team will have a new chair in 2024. Lynn McGuire, I'm very grateful that she has agreed to be chair. I will remain on the Security Advisory Team. A reminder, the other members are Bob McKenna is Vice Chair, Rufus Lalone, Don Weber, and Bonnie Napier are the other members of the Security Advisory Team. Thank you.
Okay, Emergency Preparedness, Mel Huffman.
For the Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting, we have been informed that 20 to 25% of the areas failed to identify their preferred locations for the birdhouses. Therefore, that 20 to 25% of the areas apparently abdicate their choice and allow the Emergency Preparedness Committee and the Maintenance Department to make that choice for them. And that will be put on the schedule as it fits into the Maintenance Department's work schedule to put the birdhouses in place. The Emergency Preparedness Committee needs the names of the new area reps and, if any, new area emergency coordinators, and we hope to gain that by at the end of the December 19th training program. I have outlined and will begin fleshing out and recording a training program, training video for the walkie-talkies, and it's our hope that that video will be placed on the residents' webpage such that any resident will have access to it if they want to learn how to use the walkie-talkies, which we strongly encourage every resident in the village to do. I have built an emergency antenna that was designed to work on the 40 and 80 meter bands. That doesn't mean anything if you're not a ham, but it allows us to communicate, in essence, if we wanted to, around the world. That's not the design, but we will at least be able to communicate with people on the east side of the Cascades and possibly even as far as Idaho, Montana. I am donating that antenna to the village, and I'm hoping that it will be placed in the emergency supply locker over by the maintenance department. We've been looking at doing fire extinguisher training. So far, I've only had 1 or 2 people respond on the fire extinguisher training issue, and we're hoping that we can move that forward when weather is reasonably good after the next year, new year. We've had 3 areas in the village do drills for emergency preparedness, and the reports we got back from those 3 areas was they actually had fun doing it. So we're encouraging other areas to look at conducting drills based on the Map Your Neighborhood program. And then we would hope that by the end of next year, we'll be able to have a village-wide drill. There's not going to be an emergency preparedness planning committee next month or this month, simply because the fourth Monday of the month happens to fall on December 25th. And I don't think any of the committee members want to give up their Christmas dinner to come to an emergency preparedness committee. And just this morning, I was informed that there is a collection of food-grade buckets that are, in essence, 5-gallon buckets that will become available to any resident that would like to have one or two. If you're interested in the food-grade buckets, and you say, why would I want one of those? Well, it's to put your emergency foodstuffs in, should you need or want to collect those up and have them ready for any emergency. So if you're interested in getting one or two of the 5-gallon food-grade buckets, you need to contact Bonnie Miller, who lives on Ermine. Thank you.
Okay, Grounds Committee.
No report.
Okay. Garden Committee.
No report.
No report, okay. Pet Committee.
Report.
Okay. Here he comes.
The Pet Committee has not met formally for some time. An election of a new chair and an invitation to reactivate membership is in order as I assume the role of council president. Thank you, Lois. The following are communications I've received during the interim and a current concern of importance to all dog owners in the village that has been brought to our attention. Clarification has been sought regarding a budget request that was presented to council during the last two budget cycles for a dog leash off-leash exercise area west of Quail Run. As outlined in a previous proposal submitted for consideration, a more basic facility without benches, water, or other amenities was presented in the second cycle. A fence enclosure was requested that would be constructed employing materials that could be easily and temporarily installed and redeployed to the dog park proposed for the Lakeview development. It's been suggested that the new dog park location and design are yet written in stone, and realistically that it will only once be built once the land sculpting and other basic preparations have occurred in that extension. In the meantime, a safe fenced exercise area with minimal separation of large and small dogs is a prevailing need, whereas somewhere other than the current lakeside provision, which presents its own challenge as an exercise dog space for dog owners. And you may recall some of those previous discussions if you've been on council for a while. A more current and compelling concern brought to our attention by one of the area representatives is a highly contagious respiratory dog virus, very much in the news and prevalent in this area. Dog owners are advised to refrain to the extent possible from taking their pets to doggy daycare, dog grooming services, or to kenneling facilities where the spread is most likely where it is most likely cases are prevalent. This caution is especially important for owners of dogs who may have compromised health issues. Symptoms include coughing, runny nose, a fall off in feeding, and lethargy. Recommended actions include an updated new dog flu virus inoculation, which we just got for our dog on Friday, and shots for Bordetella if you're intending to board your dog, which is also called kennel cough. If your dog is symptomatic, a visit to your veterinarian is strongly encouraged. There is not, I repeat, there is not a risk of transmission from non-dog contact. In other words, you do not need to worry about your dog sniffing where somebody else marked their territory last time and picking up this virus. There are sources of additional information and more in-depth explanations available online, including a recent study that was done with OSU. It's of specific interest that a major spreading event occurred right here in Albany during a national dog show last spring. And so it's of real concern in about 30 states, but it's something to take seriously here if you're a dog owner. There was also a question about whether or not dogs in the village have to be vaccinated and whether or not there are records kept in regard to the dogs that are present in the village, and the answer to that is yes. There is a policy and procedure in the village that is available online. If you do not have a computer or know somebody who doesn't have a computer and would like this information printed, please let us know, and either Sue or Jennifer will make sure they get that information. That you'll be interested to know includes not only your dog's inoculation record, but also a picture of your pet. And there are limitations and tracking that are included in the policy that enable the village to ensure that all pet owners' pets are safe within the village all of the time. So that's the heart of the matter, and that's my report.
All right, Joe, thank you. Okay, Mr. Craig Glosser, Facilities Director. Hospitality. Sorry. I wasn't very hospitable, I'm sorry.
Women's breakfast is the 21st, 9 a.m. in Ashwood 2.
Speaker? Will there be a speaker?
No, there will be no speaker. We're red or green, we're just going to celebrate the holiday.
The men's breakfast is a week from Thursday, as you may recall. We will have a speaker, and his name is coming up in just a second. He is Jerry Drum. He is the captain of operations for the City of Albany Police. We had asked the police chief to be here, but she's unable to attend and is having him come in her stead. And I asked him specifically to speak to the loss of one of our village residents not long ago, right out front. So Jerry Drum, and I've also been asked to remind gentlemen and any others that choose to join us to wear their name tag if they're interested in getting a free breakfast.
Where and what time again?
It's at Ashwood Court 2, and it is at 9 o'clock. And it is on, boy, you're really making me stretch here. What's the second Thursday?
The 14th.
The 14th of December. Patricia?
You don't necessarily get a free breakfast if you wear your name tag.
Oh, you have to draw a ticket that has a matching number. You get a free breakfast. Thank you.
How big's your budget? I want a bigger one.
Aren't you glad she's going to be vice president next year? I am.
Yes, we are. All right, thank you very much. I think now we're ready for Craig Glosser, so you can hand Craig a microphone, and I haven't missed something here? Nope.
All right, couple updates, couple new things. So the one item on the agenda is temporary volunteer workers. So we had a question come from one of our area reps about temporary volunteer workers and not having like proper identification, like a badge or letting them know who they are. And so we have a partnership with West Albany High School. There is a vocational rehab program, and these students come in about every Tuesday, Thursday, and they do various tasks with our staff. We have There's a group of them that come through and they do some of our recycling, and so they'll get some of the recycling together and put it in the bins. We actually have a couple students that work with our grounds department, and so we've had, they usually have a vest on the grounds department. I think this, somebody out on the grounds department was the one in question. It sounded like a resident approached this person, asked for some identification, who are you? And they didn't have anything. So we're looking at, they do wear a vest, and I think they normally have identification, but at this particular time they did not. And so we will make sure that they have proper identification, and then also that they're working with one of our grounds crew in the vicinity, just so you residents are comfortable with them and you know who they are. So making you aware of that. Today we have switched over from channel 981 to 1981. We had a little bit of problems, a couple glitches, which is probably to be expected. So we switched it over and we had some sound issues. So we're still battling some sound issues, getting kind of those things ironed out. So that is continuing to happen. At this point, we're not changing it back. We're gonna keep the course. I think we're gonna be able to fix it and get the sound working. But there are definitely some kinks that we'll have to get worked out. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. And we'll make sure that that's working seamlessly. A couple other just quick little announcements. I've had village residents talk about the Comcast and internet. When's that happening? All that kind of stuff. You guys are excited for your internet, I can tell. So right now, we are still in conversations with Comcast and other vendors. So this really is, I know you are all anxious, and we kind of let the cat out of the bag probably a little too early, but we are working through that and working with Comcast, trying to negotiate, investigate, trying to come up with the best solution. So we're still I've been off for the last week or so, and so I had a phone message from Comcast saying, hey, let's connect. So we're working on it actively. So we're hoping to get that negotiated and figured out very, very soon. So more to come on that. And then the only other thing, I was talking with a resident about the work order line, the emergency work order line, and some residents were having some experience having difficulty calling the work order emergency line. So we're in the middle of trying to get that figured out. The instructions on the back of the update were getting people to some weird extension. So we're trying to work through that and get that going. If you're experiencing that problem, let me know, and so we can kind of figure out what's going on. But we'll try to get that ironed out, and we'll look at how we can clarify that process on the back of the update. We want to make things as simple as possible, because when you're in an emergency situation, you have to listen to a phone tree and dial numbers. That's not the best. So we're trying to streamline that and make that as easy as possible. So more to come on that, but if you have issues dialing that number, please let me know. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. You notice that Craig had a few more items and were on the agenda, but he was gone, and we couldn't communicate ahead of time to get his list. So thank you for those updates. Those are very important for us. Mr. Craig Spivey.
All right, end of the year, so this will be pretty quick. Here our marketing report here. In the village right now, we have 13 houses that are being refurbished. 9 of those are reserved. So we have 4 houses we're actively marketing right now, which is the most at one time that we've had this year. But we do expect those to be taken fairly quickly. We also have an Ashwood 2 apartment that is available, and we're marketing that one as well. So in the village right now, there's 418 of you, 418 residents, and we have 132 on our current wait list. And so far this year, we've moved in 34 new residents, and we're anticipating 2 more this month. So there'll be 2 more residents here before the end of the year. In Quail Run, right now, we're at 93% occupancy, which statewide is pretty good for assisted living. We have 7 studio apartments available right now. So there's some availability there. In Mennonite Home, we have 1 bed that's currently available. At Lydia's house, we have 2 available, but we have also several evaluations this week, so we expect those to be filled by the end of this week. So total residents in our care areas is 155 total, and that's what we have. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. Okay, Sue Curry, Independent Living.
Thanks, Joe. So first off, I'd like to have everybody welcome our new residents as of our last council meeting leading up to December. So we have Ms. Jean Wilbur, who moved in on Davidson, and Rosemary Burke, who moved in on Ermine Street. So welcome to our new residents to Mennonite Village. And as promised, we have a quarterly update, numbers given from the in-home care agencies that we're partnered with. So when we started working with Home Instead and Visiting Angels, they gave me their numbers of how many people they were serving on our campus. So, and then quarterly thereafter. So to begin with, Home Instead in-home care, when we first began talking to them and started the partnership, they had 2 clients that they were serving on campus, 2 residents, their clients. And that equaled 18 hours a week. So within the first quarter being a partner, so through September, they've had 1 phone call from residents that equaled into 1 assessment that led to a new client. So they're serving now 3 residents on our campus. And right now their total hours are 30 hours per week. And that's for Home Instead. Visiting Angels, when we partnered with them in June, they didn't have any service on campus. So the residents were not working with Visiting Angels. Since then, since the partnership, they had 6 phone calls from residents. Those 6 phone calls led to 1 assessment and 1 new client. So they have, Visiting Angels has 1 resident on campus that they're providing services for a total of 8 hours per week. So with the 2 agencies combined that we're working with, as of the end of September, it's a total of 38 hours on campus. So I had promised to you that we would provide updates. I'm not for sure how long we'll continue that, but we'll continue to give you the information as you're requesting that sort of numbers for regarding in-home care. So I expect another update from the 2 agencies the end of this month. So in the January meeting, I should have another report for you.
Thank you, Sue. Bernadette has a topic to discuss with us. Bernadette Milstead, Wellness Director.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate having the opportunity to discuss a couple of fun things actually that we have for the wellness program. We have been able to move forward with replacing a lot of our programming options. We've got LBCC's footprint on this campus on a regular basis now. So we've got LBCC fully back for the Better Bones and Balance 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock classes. We are finalizing the winter contract. It has been signed. So please look at your village update. We have additional coverage for the Forever Fit class that's coming back. And then we have a few new options that will be coming to the winter term schedule. So again, read your village update. If you have questions, reach out to our team. But for us to be able to continue to move forward with programming options, especially our partnership with LBCC, we need your help. We need your feedback. So there is a survey, and I want to say thank you so much to the entire team for independent living, marketing, and the wellness team. We all got together and actually finalized this survey. So there was a lot of brains working. We needed to keep it short and sweet, but we wanted to make sure that we got enough feedback that will help us move forward with programming options. And Craig, a special thank you to you. Craig was the one that actually was able to create the survey for us, deal with SurveyMonkey that wouldn't let me in to actually complete the survey, and he actually has it that'll post tomorrow. So Craig, a big thank you to you for that support. So a lot of teamwork went into this survey. The survey will be posted tomorrow morning. You're gonna get it's actually gonna be from SurveyMonkey, correct, an email? Or is it gonna come as a constant contact?
Constant contact.
Constant contact, so you're gonna get a constant contact email. Embedded in that is gonna take you to the survey. This survey is very important to all of us. It's important and should be important to you and your neighbors. You have a week to complete this survey. It's gonna close the end of day on Tuesday, December 12th, okay? We're gonna compile the answers. I'll come back with you with some of what we're able to glean from the survey. But the survey is going to ask you some questions about current programming. Is it meeting your needs? What are you currently participating in? It's going to ask you what you want to see in the future. And it has a list. Some of the things that you're going to see listed are options that LBCC might be able to provide an instructor for us. So a lot of that, what's listed. And some of it includes options that we might be able to, that we know fruitfully, that we can glean instructors from the community. But it doesn't have everything, so there's a few options for you to embed some of your own thoughts, wishes, and what you would like to see for the wellness program. Now, when I say wellness program, I'm not just talking about fitness classes, because a lot of you, it's not your thing, right? You don't want to come into classes. Some of you prefer walking every day. Maybe you don't use the wellness center or the aquatic center, but when I'm saying wellness programming, I'm talking about a lot of options. I'm talking about continuing education, arts, language, history, gardening. I'm not just talking about the fundamental fitness classes that most people think of, okay? So please, you might have a neighbor that's like, I don't go to the wellness program, I don't go to Lakeside. Please encourage them that this is their opportunity to speak up for things that might fit their needs. So we want to hear from everyone. Now we understand not everyone actually receives the constant contact, not everyone is connected with email. So I have printed paper copies. Please don't take a printed copy if you don't need one. I don't want to print more if we don't need them. So if you have access to email, please use that option. But if you have a neighbor that you know doesn't get over here very often, grab one for them, okay? If you don't end up using it, bring it back. But I have about 40 already printed. I'm going to put them out at the end of Village Council, so maybe a couple of you that know a neighbor, or maybe you are that neighbor that doesn't have email, encourage them to participate. We need it brought back to the wellness program. You can kick it under our doors. I have a drop box also that's out there that you can just fold it in half and slip it in. But we want to hear from you. I want to know that we have a finite amount of money for programming. We all know this. I want to use that funding, we want to use that funding to meet the needs that you have, okay? I don't know your needs if you're not communicating with me, so please get back with us. And then a plug, as you're heading out too, many of you already have it circled on your calendar, but Casa Musica is coming to us this Saturday. You will see me here, I will be here on a Saturday. We have a concert here in Lakeside Center from 2 to 4, yeah, a 2-hour. They even talked, we might need an intermission. I said, yeah, you might need an intermission. They are coming, it's a variety show, so it sounds like we've got a group from Oregon State that is a cappella. We have a high school group that's doing a choir. We have a caroling group. I think we have a pianist. It's gonna be a variety show. So come if you can. Feel free to grab a flyer and invite a neighbor that doesn't get out very often. Encourage them to get out. Encourage them to connect. We're gonna have seating for as many seats as I can fit in here. We're gonna have stadium seating. And if we need to, we'll move chairs for wheelchairs. So I'll have a couple people volunteering to help move chairs as needed. So open to all, free for the community, free for all of us. So come join us. Thank you for your time.
What day?
It's this Saturday.
9th.
9th. 2 to 4.
The 9th?
Yeah.
The 7th.
No, Saturday, tonight. Saturday, it's a Saturday. Am I wrong on my date? Correct me if I'm wrong. I am right. We're okay? Saturday the 9th.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Bernadette. Okay, old business, we didn't have any this month. New business. So on the back of your agenda, you'll see that Jennifer handily printed out the village council meeting schedule for 2024. So we're going to discuss that now. And Joe is the moderator of this discussion. Our incoming president.
Before I say anything about this schedule, I'd like to do a shout out to Bernadette and to Aaron. She talks about programming and she talks about the other things that they try to do for us as a village to accomplish our well-being. I know for a fact, participating in a couple of these programs previously, that these two people put their heart and soul into the maintenance, not just of our programs, but of this space. And so I'd like you to all join me in thanking Bernadette and Aaron. So as you see from the schedule that's on the back of the agenda today, we've lined out for you when these meetings will occur. You, of course, don't anticipate or expect that we'd meet on January 1st, so our first meeting of next year will be at January 8th, and then you can follow down through to see when our other times are. There was a question about area rep training on December 10th, and note that's December 10th of 2024, not 2023. So we look forward to our training that's coming up soon. We look forward to having new area reps at the table. We greatly appreciate those of you who continue to serve and have served previously. We want you to encourage the people in your areas to see this as an opportunity to improve the quality of their own lives as well as ours by bringing their positive concerns and efforts to the fore when they meet within those areas. Do we still have some areas that don't have a rep, Tim? I believe that's the case. So as we move into next year, would you please encourage those two areas who don't currently have reps to join us with our opportunity to improve life here in the village? Not that Tim hasn't already done that. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, so what we should do with this now is we can look at this. If you're ready to, I mean, some of you are outgoing. We don't have the new ones here yet, but it is for next year. Should we wait until January to adopt this as a council and have the 2024 council adopt this as opposed to the, okay, I see some chickens on some heads. So let's do that. We'll go ahead and we'll meet the council. The new council will meet on January 8th, 2024. And then that'll be an item of business on that council for adopting this. Gives you a chance and the incoming reps also to go through this list and see how it will work. Okay. Very good. Thank you, Joe. And I couldn't find any action items from previous council meetings in the minutes, so we are ready for area reps, questions, and comments. So we'll do as we've been doing. We'll just start over here with Area 3.
Why don't you start over there for a while?
Okay, we can do that. Start the other way around. Give Keith this chance. And Joe will just walk around. If you have a question, raise your hand, and he'll go around until there are no more questions.
I have a question for everybody here, including the audience. How many of you know where your red emergency folder is located? Yay! So many do. Came in real handy Sunday. One of our neighbors was supposed to pick up another neighbor from church. No answer to the doorbell or to the phone call. So they called me and said, can you check this out? So the person contact was in this little booklet. So I called the son, said, this is what's happening. Myself and another neighbor went over. The neighbor had fallen. She's now in the hospital with a broken hip. This is what we do in the village, is we take care of each other by being aware of what's going on. One neighbor notified another there was a problem. The problem was taken care of, and the son was able to be there too. I ended up calling 911. That was a new experience for me. I had called 911 before. But the point is, these should be handy, not stuck away in a drawer of your desk. Because every area has the emergency contact individuals' phone numbers for everybody in your area. So it's really important to have this on hand. So that was my plug for the red folder. The other thing I have is some follow-up on the dog infectious disease. 200 cases have been reported here in Oregon so far. That's the reported cases. So if you're a dog owner, take it very seriously because this is not a good disease. They don't have a cure for it, and they haven't really decided how it communicates other than it's a respiratory thing. And the final one, my husband asked me to bring this up. Please wear reflective gear at night. We have almost run over several people in their dark coats and their dark pants. If you don't have a reflective gear, a flashlight alone won't do it. You've got to have either a vest or a jacket that reflects the headlights, the cars coming up behind you or in front of you. So please, if you don't have one, go down to wherever and find a cheap reflective vest and wear that when you're out walking. Thank you.
And early morning, early morning.
Wheeler Dealer, year before last, had the reflective vest for about $15, which is highly affordable for probably most everybody.
They've got full jackets as well.
Yeah, so Wheeler Dealer over on Queen and Gary Street. So, second thing is I'm going to thank Tim for being an amazing president this year. He's done an amazing job for getting this whole business under control, and I so appreciate that. Thank you.
Wayne Decker, Area 20, and I don't know if this is the proper venue or not, but the construction on the renovation of the houses, we have had trucks parked in front of driveways last week, blocking the driveway for over 3 hours, and they did not ask if they could park in front of the driveways. It has also made it difficult for the residents across the street to back out of their driveways. And they have been asked not to do that, and this morning they were doing it again. So this is something that needs to be dealt with. And I do know it's not only our area because I looked out my back window and saw them doing another area. And so please ask the construction guys not to block the neighbors' driveways. And this is the second item I have that came to me. It was asked to, I had a question about the guys that are, the work crew that are getting on the roofs. Do they have special shoes for getting on the roofs? I think the residents are concerned about them sliding off the roof.
So a couple of responses. For the trucks parking in the driveway, Wayne, you're always welcome to call me, my office, or Aaron Troyer, our renovation project supervisor, just to let us know. We want to nip it in the bud when it's happening, and we can talk to the right people. So don't be afraid to call me anytime. We really want to keep that under control, but it doesn't really help when weeks pass or even days and we can't address it, right as it's happening. So feel free to call me anytime.
Why don't you share your phone number?
Yes, phone number this is my office phone, 541-704-4264. That's my office number. As far as shoes on, on roofs, yes, they should be wearing the proper shoes. I'm not sure what the concern is, if it's, depending on what kind of weather we are. A lot of times they're in rain boots or like a leather boot, tennis shoes even. So those, we try not to get on the roofs unless we absolutely have to, and then we also try to, tie in where we can. If we actually went back through and put tie-off hardware on the houses so that we can actually like clip in and, and do that. So for OSHA requirements, all that kind of stuff, there's certain things that we have to do, and so we're abiding by OSHA regulations.
This is a question for Craig Glasser. In your negotiations with Comcast, what speed of internet are they offering? Or do you have that information yet?
Off the top of my head, I don't have that information. What I have been given is kind of an average of what everybody is currently using right now. And I don't remember what those speeds are, I don't want to misquote, but I know what an average is of what everybody's using, and then there's other people that use like a higher speed, so I do know those numbers as well. So we're looking at that, trying to figure out if we want to go with, kind of what the average is, or if we want to offer a higher speed. So that's all in the negotiating and all the, all those types of things. It won't be slower, I will say that, as far as, we don't want to go slower.
I was just at Comcast this morning because a new neighbor moved in that has a much lower cost to hers, and her speed was 200, mine is 400. And they said if I dropped the internet, my package would stay the same. It would not go down.
Pat Scotty, Unit Area 11. This question isn't from one of our residents. It's one of our residents who shortly moved to Quail Run, but she still feels like she ought to be with us. She wants to know, what is the rationale for closing Quail Run gift/basic supply shop? We understand that there are or were 2 volunteers willing to give a lot of hours to working there. Surely there are others who would be willing to staff that also.
I don't think Quail Run's closed.
I don't have an answer for that, Patricia, but yeah, I can ask, I could find out, and then what's the best form of communication? Bring it next month? That's a long time till.
Email's fine.
Email? Do you want me to email you directly? Do you want me to email everybody? Everybody. Okay, so I will do some research on that, find out what's going on, and I will email all residents of the village.
Thank you. Don Rackham, Section 8. Wow. I hope you all remember the Christmas parade, December 13th, and we're welcoming more golf carts, whether they're decorated or not. If they're decorated, they will be judged for a prize. And we're looking forward to that. If all you have to do is show up at the pavilion by 2 o'clock, especially if you're decorated and want to be judged. If you don't have a cart, that's fine. Just show up and get in line. And those of you who don't have a cart, we think that the route is such that most every home will have a chance to look at the parade. Another item is rats or mice have destroyed wiring. One of our residents, and it's a nearly new car. It's going to cost probably $1,000 or more for that wiring to be replaced. So we hope that something, that this will be looked into, because if it goes into other cars in our area that are not garaged, it's going to be some pretty serious problems.
Excuse me, can I ask a question? Was the car parked outside?
Yes. Yes. And there are several cars.
Yeah,
It's
I
not,
understand that.
it's not because they want to, it's because they have to.
Got too much stuff.
And then lastly, the Ashwood 2 North Lounge, we would prefer that the South Lounge be used because one of the residents' door, her only front door, opens into that lounge, and every time she comes out, all heads turn to see who it is. And it's very disturbing to her, and I can understand why. The South Lounge is readily available. There's hardly anybody that ever uses it, so we really prefer that meetings, whenever possible, can be taken to the South Lounge.
Hi, I'm Sandy Lizard, Area 4, and I just want to say, since this is the last, it seems impossible that it can be, the last meeting of the year, just to congratulate everybody and congratulate each other, et cetera, for a really very, very good year for council.
Keith Miller, Area 3, ditto on the gift shop at Quail Run. Had a member in our area that wondered about the same question. And then the second issue has to do with the street lights in our area. They tend to stay on all day on cloudy days, and some of the street lights at least I've seen in Area 4 do the same thing. Thank you.
Just a quick comment on streetlights. So yeah, it's the time of the year where we're hitting foggy days or darker days. The sun's not coming out a lot, and so the streetlights, some streetlights can stay on. If anyone notices that there's streetlights that are staying on most of the day, put in a work order locating about where those streetlights are. We can look at the photo cells and change those photo cells. They wear out throughout time. And we're trying to monitor that, but sometimes we don't catch all those. But if you see something, on for most of the day, put in a work order and we'll try to get those addressed. Real quick on the rats in the cars or whatever, Bob, I just have you guys report that to either maintenance, once again, another work order, just so that we can help do whatever we can. We do have, bait stations that we can place out, different things like that, but yeah, we have experienced, rodents and all sorts of different wildlife, little creatures that are roaming around the village, and so we want to help, try to keep them from damaging our property. So let's, let us know where that's at and more details, and we can follow up with that.
So I just wanted to remind everybody that we will have the town hall this month. Somebody help me remember the date. 12th?
12th.
The 12th. Here at Lakeside Center, we'll have the town hall meeting. And the questions and comments, the deadline to receive those is today, by the end of the day. We have received a couple of dozen questions for that meeting. And one of them was regarding the Quail Run gift shop. So we'll do some research on that. There will be a thorough response to that at the town hall. But we can too follow up with that.
Time?
What time is the town hall? I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry. We're checking the calendar, I apologize.
It's at 3.
3 o'clock on December 12th here at Lakeside Center. All are welcome.
On Becker Circle, we have also had rat and mice problems in the past. We have bait boxes put out by maintenance. And the other thing is encourage your neighbors not to feed the birds.
Let me follow up on that. So I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there, just sort of watching the weather, and all of a sudden, there's a rat. And he scurries up this pole, and I had, suet. And he just went right at it. So my suet is now in my garage. And be advised, don't feed anybody.
So I'm going to come back around the table once more if there's anybody else.
Don't get too thrilled.
Regarding the bird feeders, the best thing to do is to make sure you don't have bird seed that gets kicked out by the birds. They don't like the cheap kind. They will not eat things that are not edible to them. The cheaper brands have 2 or 3 seeds that usually have something they don't like. We do straight sunflower seeds. And that way we don't have anybody going to the ground eating because they're all gone.
But the rats are climbing the poles to get the food.
Can we shoot them with our BB guns?
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Other seconds?
I'm missing Diane, and she hasn't been doing the updates or on the emails. And I'm wondering, is she around? Is she gone? Is she sick?
Is she meeting this month?
I heard that. No, Diane has not resigned. She is still here at Mennonite Village with us. She has taken a little bit of time off of campus. As I understand, she went to 2 separate conferences back to back. Couldn't tell you which ones or where. And then she took today as a personal day off because of all of that traveling. So she will be on campus tomorrow. As I understand, she is holding her Wednesday, the 6th, day after tomorrow, chapel talk at 11 o'clock. I do believe the 13th is canceled, but that's reflected in the calendar of the update. As far as her videos, I do not have a response to that. Neither does Craig Spivey. So if you would like to know, please come on Wednesday, 11 o'clock to the chapel, and you can ask her.
My car is in a carport. I've been advised not to keep food in your car.
Good deal.
Virginia Cazadar, Area 5. I don't want to be a Grinch, but I think we shouldn't feed the ducks and the turkeys on the ground.
I've got one last item, Tim, that I neglected to speak to. The Councilor McGee from our area has asked for potential people to apply to be on the Airport Advisory Commission, and there are 2 openings on the Tourism Commission. So if you would have an interest in either of those, please get that information to Jim Thigpen. Thanks.
That's for city council or city offices.
That's right, those are city positions.
Okay. Well, very good, everybody. Here it is, 10 after 3, and we're just about ready to adjourn, but I just want to take this time to thank each officer. Thank you, Joe, Bren, Deb, and for Linda for filling in when Deb was gone. Each of you and each area rep, it's been so fun getting to know each of you and interact with you at a deeper level. And admin folks, I love getting to know you. It's been a good experience for me. So yeah, serving as council president is a good experience this whole year. So thank you all for making that so. And I'm also happy to turn over responsibilities to my good friend Joe Wintery. Yeah. So thank you, Joe, for being willing to serve as council president for 2024. And also, it looks like, for representative to the board for 2024. And just, Joe, may the Lord bless you in this endeavor. And so thank you all very much. So I'll call this meeting adjourned at 3:10.